Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing this gorgeous lady's makeup. Jaidyn, say hi.
Hi.
She's very nervous, but she's just going to have to sit here and look pretty because I'm going to do her makeup. So, ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
So what look do you want to go for today?
Natural.
A natural look? Okay. So we're going to do natural makeup on Miss Jaidyn. And she's going to look beautiful.
Okay, you guys, so as you can see, I'm just wiping some moisturizer onto her skin. And the moisturizer I used today was the Pond's Hydrate Moisturizer. And I've been using this a couple times on my own makeup, but I used it on her today. I like it because it does leave the skin slightly tacky. And I feel like that does help the foundation and concealers and stuff to kind of hold on to the skin a little bit better. For hers, I did put a bit too much on, but it ended up being fine, and she ended up really liking it. You can see here I'm taking that Broadway concealer. I'm just going around and spot concealing a couple of the blemishes she had on her face. They were a bit red, and I thought it would show through her foundation. So anytime you have any redness or any kind of blemishes and stuff like that, you can always go through with a little concealer and just spot correct it, and it'll definitely make a huge difference. Right now I'm just taking a little bit of green concealer and going around on some of her red areas, and I later go on and blend it out with a beauty blender and just kind of tone that redness down. So now that I've got all of that done, I'm going to go in and add a little bit of a cream highlight on her upper cheekbone. And this is going to go underneath the foundation and just give her a little more luminosity. Now all of that is underneath is going to be time for foundation. And the foundation I used today was the True Blend CoverGirl along with the liquid satin mousse by Maybelline. And I mixed those colors. It was natural ivory and porcelain ivory. And I mixed those two together, and I'm just applying that all over the face with a beauty blender. Blending softly, tapping softly. My beauty blender was actually very, very moisturized at the time, and it did give her a super dewy look. So I actually spent quite a bit of time blending that in and just kind of pushing that into her skin. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take that Broadway concealer one more time, and I'm going to go ahead and conceal underneath her eyes. I'm going to do down the bridge of her nose, the chin area, and then her forehead. And I'm going to take a beauty blender and go ahead and blend that out as well. Now, after blending out her concealer underneath her eye, I go ahead and I take a little bit of the Dream On CoverGirl translucent powder in the shade Fair, and I go ahead and I bake and set her under eyes. And I do this after almost immediately blending that out with a beauty blender because it eliminates creasing. Like if you do it immediately, it will completely eliminate all creasing. Now, while the bake is baking on her face, I went ahead and I took some Maybelline Fit Me powder, and it was a pressed powder in the shade Sun Beige, and I just went ahead and warmed her face up. I used it more as a bronzer, not as much a contour. Brought a lot of warmth to her face. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use a powder puff and wipe away the bake. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of the Ulta blush color Nude Pink and apply that to her cheeks to add a little bit of more warmth to her face. I'm just going to go in now with a little bit of the Wet n Wild Illuminating Palette in the color Catwalk. And I'm just going to put the lightest shade in that palette on the top of her cheekbones. And that's going to give her a very dewy, natural look. I then went in with a second highlighter from Ulta Cosmetics. And the Ulta Cosmetics one that I went in was called Sapphire. That was the next one. It's got almost like a bluish tint to it. It's really beautiful. Now I'm just going to go in with that same concealer, the Broadway one, and I'm going to prime her eyelid. Once it's set, I do not actually set it with a powder. I leave it sticky. And I do that because it will hold the pigment a lot more. I also blend it out with a smaller beauty blender. Now the first color I'm going to go into is a color that's in my Professional Pro palette, and that's just going to be a crease color. It's a nice transition color. It's like a warm brown. And as you can see on this side, I'm just going to use like windshield wiper motions in the crease and slowly build that pigment up between the outer corner and all the way into the inner corner, just through the crease. And I'm going to take a little bit smaller of a brush, and I'm going to run a little bit darker of a warmer brown through the crease over that other pigment, and just start building up that outer corner. Now I'm going to go into a Broadway eyeshadow palette and take a little bit of a warmer, more metallic brown, and I'm going to put that on the outside of the crease on both the eyes and just blend that in really well. It's going to give it a tiny bit of a shimmer, but what it's really going to do is add a little more warmth. So now I'm just going to take a little concealer and cut her crease. What I mean by cutting her crease is you take concealer on a flat brush, you put it on her eyelid, and then you make her blink. That's going to show you where your crease needs to be cut. And once that is on, you bring it to about the middle of her lid. That is going to remain sticky. You don't set it with powder. And we're going to put a little shimmer highlight on top of that color. And it's going to make for a beautiful eye look. Now I'm just taking another flat brush and I'm packing on that pigment. The pigment I used was from one of my Broadway palettes, and it was just a light shimmer color, almost closer to a cream or a beige. Now what you see me doing here is just taking another fluffy brush with that same pigment that we used in her crease, and I'm just going to blend that cut crease in just a little bit. Now I'm going to take a small pencil brush and grab that darker brown and just run that across the bottom of her eye, up close to the waterline. I'm just going to take a little bit of that big Fiber Lash LA mascara that I've been trying out, and I'm going to see if it's my eyelashes that I hated on or if it was hers as well. And I ended up finding out that it was just the mascara. I absolutely hate this mascara. I ended up giving it to her. It completely hit the top of her eyelashes. It was really hard to get off the skin, and she has really long eyelashes, so this was just not the type of mascara, I guess, to use on her eyelashes. I ended up switching out to my Lash Splash CoverGirl, and I ended up really liking the way it ended up looking, but you can see it transferred, and it was horrible. I absolutely hate this mascara. I will never use it again or ever buy it again. Now I'm just going to take a Q-tip with a little micellar water on it after that mascara dried. And I went back and tried to take off that mascara that had transferred onto her eyelid. And that's why I partly hated this mascara, because usually with most mascaras, I can take that on a Q-tip and wipe it right off. But this ended up moving around. I had to go a little bit farther, and then I ended up having to take the shadow and blend over that part with the shadow again in order to make this look good. So I hate that mascara. I'm not going to say it one more time. It was just not good. So here I'm just taking a little Too Faced lipstick in the shade Sugar Daddy, and I'm just going to apply that to her lips. It's a really pretty nude with a little bit of shimmer, and it doesn't matte down. It stays pretty moisturizing throughout the day.
All right, you guys, so this is our finished look. Jane, get a little bit closer to the camera for me, if you would. And you can see, close your eyes, we did a cut crease on her, and we also did her brows, and we gave her a little bit of bronzer. You already know all this, but what do you think? You like it? Mm-hmm. Does it look good? I think it looks really good. I think it's very pretty. Thank you guys so much for watching my channel. Remember to like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you can get reminders of when I put out new videos. Try to put out at least one new video a week. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.